All right, guys, and now we're back on 123 Keller Street, and the video series picks up now where we've prepared our forms and documents, and we're ready to have our client sign those. So yay, we're going under contract here. So I want to talk about the process to do that. We're still in our transaction 123 Keller Street. You see that up here at the top. Over here is the different categories for this transaction. The icons you see over here on the left, those are your summaries. So if you want to see all your transactions, all of your signings, all of your Insta forms, that's where you'll get all of this. The stuff that's on the right pertains specific to this transaction. So now that we have everything prepared, we're going to click on signings right here. And now we're going to click on add. And we'll name it the same as we named the loop because we want to know what signings these are to. So I'm going to continue with the 123 Keller Street. So we're using this as our example, and we're going to hit save. And now we're going to go through the wizard for the signing, and it's pretty straightforward. I think you guys will find it easy to use. Step one is the details. What is the signing name? 123 Keller Street. That's just the file name. It's not the name of your client or anything like that, just the file name for the signing. And the participant order, sign in line is just that. If I say that I want to sign first, then I have to choose, I can sign and then the client signs, or I can set it up so that the client signs and then I can't sign until after the client signs. Samuel sign is exactly what it says, first come, first serve. Whoever wants to sign, signs. I'm going to leave it sign in line so that I can show you guys that, how to change that here in a second. Once again, let me move my head out of the way. The advance options, you can set expiration dates for signings. You can set reminders. If the client hasn't signed after so long, you can have a reminder sent to them that there is a form that needs to be signed and they need to get in there and do that. So let's shrink that back down. Step two is, who do you want to have sign? So remember back when we went through the transaction wizard in steps 1 through 5 a couple videos ago, we added our people who we wanted to include in this contract. And we said that we wanted home seller to be the homeowner and Susan Oliver is the listing agent. So we can click on the hamburger here and it gives you some more information about them. And then you can check them. So I want home seller to be a remote signer, and that just means that they can sign from anywhere. When they click on the link that gets emailed to them, they'll be able to sign. In-person signer is the person, they can sign it sitting here next with you. The steps for that are a little different. Reviewer is just, they can review the documents, they can make changes, but that is it. And CC only is read only for the most part. And then you're also going to check yourself. From going through the practice of learning transaction desk, the remote signer, and I called Georgia MLS to confirm this, you guys do want to select yourselves as remote signer so that you can sign from anywhere you are also after your client signs. So after we have our 2 people or however many people selected, we're going to click on add. And see, here is the order signature. Home seller is number 1. Susan Oliver, the listing agent, is number 2. But what if I wanted to sign it first before I sent it over to the homeowner? I can click right here. Oops, I think I got impatient. There it goes. So now Susan Oliver is going to sign it first, and then the home seller can sign it after I sign it. But that's normally not how we do things. So I'm going to move it back, but for some reason, if it does load in that order, you guys want to pay attention to that to catch it because it could be waiting on you and you're going, why aren't you signing your contract? So just keep that part in mind. Now we're going to go to step 3 where we tell it what we want to have signed. So it pulls in everything. It pulls in what we added under our documents and our forms. See where it says form/documents. I can check here and check everything if I want to, or I can just go through for right now and say, okay, I want to have them sign the exclusive seller listing agreement. I want them to sign this, the lead-based paint. We aren't in notice of closing yet, so I don't need that, but the Market Center now requires the advertising disclosure the sewage system and water system disclosure and the wire fraud. As you guys all know, that's been around for a while, but so we can pick and choose what we want, or we can add everything. It's how you guys want to run your business and interact with your clients. So once we have what we want chosen, we're going to click on add, and it will put it in there. So there is. So please check that everyone you want to sign is in the right role. So who do you want to be what? So home seller is seller one, listing broker, selling broker. You have to tell it that you're the listing broker. It does not know that. And then you'll click on save right up here in the corner. And then we go to step 4. Everything's in there. See where it's got these little yellow boxes before we move on to step 4, just really quickly. These are GAR forms. It's already got pre-assigned signature fields. So as soon as I told it that I was the listing agent and that home seller is the homeowner, it knows where they need to sign. So just like when we utilized the dot loop forms before, guys, it assigns the fields to the correct person based on the role that was assigned to them. So let's go to step 4. And this is where we're going to make sure that the documents look how we want it to look. One last time to preview everything, make sure you filled it all out correctly before sharing it with your clients. And you can go through, look at it all, go down. Let's get to see where it has the signature page for me. There's the home seller. I'm going to scooch this back down here to the bottom just so you guys can see what this all looks like. Again, it knows who needs to sign where. There. What I really want to show you guys is the extra forms that the office needs. So here's where, if you wanted to mark up the form, you could do markup. You could add text at this point, or you could have done that in the last video where I showed you how you can click on it and mark it up and add in all your text. If you need to add a signature box, like, or an initial box, like what is right here on these, in these fields for sewer description, you want to make sure that you have the correct signer up here. So Susan Aller, home seller, is who we want to have assigning this to. And then when you click on drag and drop, you have sign here, sign optional, initial here, initial optional. These are all pretty self-explanatory, guys. And you will take initial here because that's an initial box, and we're going to just drag it to right here. And if there was a Mrs. Home Seller, we would change this right here to Mrs. Home Seller, and then do the initial here so it knows that that is the initial box for the Mrs. Home Seller. So whoever's up here is getting assigned to the box that you dragged for initials or signatures. And it would be, again, the same process that we just did a second ago for the water source. Mr. Home Seller is selected as the person that we want to have initial in the initial box that we're putting here. Oh, it loaded over there. So you can see I can just move it around and put it where I want it to be. But just so you guys can see exactly what I was talking about. So now I have Susan Oliver there, and I can do initial here and see how the initials go to Susan Oliver, but this would be your other homeowner that is completing this form that would go there. But we'll change back over to home seller. And that would be the same process going all the way down this home page. This says home seller here because back on the last video when we were talking about how to prepare your documents and your forms, you can go in and all of the print names and add check boxes. Like up here, if you wanted to create this as a template, you could have gone through and added check boxes. But again, another whole training video that we're not going to worry about today. So then again, I'm just going to add a signature here for home seller. And then where it says sign here, because it is a requirement, not an optional signature box. That's why I went with the first one, and I drag it to where I want it to be at, and that is where the home seller will sign their name at when it goes over to be signed. And that is all of our documents. So we'll click next. And then you're at the last step for assigning. So it says finalizing signing setup, and that is exactly it. You can go in and click send invitations, and it will send the invitations out. You'll be good to go. It's just a generic email. Hey, such and such has asked that you sign these documents. and they get an email and they click on the little blue icon with the pen and they start signing, just like in Dotloop. And at the end of that signing, they have the opportunity to create an account if they want to. They don't have to. But it's very similar to what our clients are used to seeing before when we were using the Dotloop system. Down here, if you want to send a customized invitation email instead of the standard default one, you can change it. Click on there, type in whatever lovely note that you want to include with your email when you send over the invitation to sign. And from there, it's the same process. They'll click the link and they will sign, and your first signing is complete. And waiting on the clients to do their part. I'm going to click on send invitations. And this is what you'll get after you click on send invitations, and we will click OK. And now we'll see that there's this lightning bolt right here under the signings tab for 123 Keller Street. This means that it's in process and it is waiting on people to sign. You can open the signing, you can look at the history or delete. Once everybody signs, you'll be able to click back in here and access your signed documents so that you can download those and upload them to the opportunities tab in your command. So that is how you get your documents signed. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.